Yes, indeed, we back on another episode of Chillwood Talks. I'm your host, Chillwood174, and this episode gonna be called "I Got a Story to Tell." Um, Back in the days, early Bronx days, there was a dude that had moved to my neighborhood. I'm not gonna say his name, but he had moved to my neighborhood. Probably was about 12 years old, and he was from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying. So him coming to Brooklyn, he brought a lot of stuff from Brooklyn to our neighborhood, the Bronx, that they supposedly was doing in Brooklyn. A lot of things we wasn't doing at the time, or we thought, and he was a big dude. He was about 12. He was a big dude. He was like a man child. He was a big dude. So we saw him doing a lot of things like fighting grown men at an early age because he was a big guy. So a lot of us was kind of a little scared of him a little bit when he was about 12, whatever. And so we followed him around a lot because we saw certain things he was doing. A few years later, we started making a little money in the streets, doing what we was doing, getting a couple of dollars, nothing major, just a couple of dollars. And he supposedly had family all over the city, all over New York, all over the city. So one place he had family at was the Polo Grounds in Harlem, Polo Grounds 155th. So I remember he was like, "Yo, come meet the Polo Grounds and meet some of my family." I had never been to the Polo Grounds at this time, so I went with him. Like I said, at that time we was getting a couple of dollars, so this when the beepers was out. You know, we had little beepers and we had a little chain on or whatever, nothing major, but just a little something. So I remember we went to go visit his family in the Polo Grounds. I don't remember what building it was. I didn't even know nothing about colonial projects at the time because it was in the back. You know what I'm saying? But we went to the Polo Grounds. His family lived way up on one of the top floors. We went to go see his family. And I think he was looking for his uncle, and his uncle had owned a shop on like Frederick Douglass down the block from the Polo Grounds. So they told him where his uncle was at. So he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go see my uncle. We're gonna get a couple of dollars from my uncle or something." So I remember we walked down Frederick Douglass. I forgot what street it was on, but we walked down not too far from the Polo, but probably like a block or two. I think it's his uncle had like a number hole or something over there. So I'm not sure if we went there first or not. I just remember we was walking down there, and I think we went to the shop. His uncle wasn't there, but we had ran into a couple of his homies that was from around there, from the Polo Grounds, like 4 or 5 of them. So we seen them. So we start walking with them for whatever. They start talking. They walking. They catching up. We had went down the block by the park. I forgot which. I think it's Bradhurst. And we walking by the park, and we had, I don't know if it was the chain or the beeper that homie was like, "Yo, let me see that." And my friend let him see it. This is the dude that's from Brooklyn that I was with, from my block now. So he let him see the chain. I don't know if it was the chain or the beep. It was one or the other. And there was about 5 of them. So he let him see it. So they walking, talking. So the dude, he asked for it back. Like, let me get that chain back or something or whatever it was, the beeper. So the dude was like, nah. Like he started like playing, like nah. And they started walking. So I kind of figured out, these must not be your homies. Like, he trying to take your shit. He's talking about you ain't getting it back. He with a couple other niggas, and I'm just so confused because I don't know what's going on, because I think these are the homies. And dude kind of like ran off, and he like chased the dude, and the other dudes like ran off. So I was like left standing there at the park because I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm thinking this is his friends, and I'm with him. So I'm like, so I ended up walking back to his uncle's shop. And I waited there because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know nothing about Harlem at this time, so I just didn't know where to go. So I just waited there, and he finally came back around the corner from my homeboy. I thought he got the chain back. I thought his friend was playing with it, but he never got it back. So it just was left at that. But we was going home, got back on the D train, back to go home, back to the Bronx, and I was so confused because he ain't beat the dude up, he ain't take the chain back, nothing. Like, you know what I mean? So that kind of made me realize you're not really who you say you is. You were doing things and saying things to us, around us, but you wasn't really who you say you was. So that started to make me realize, made my mind shift, like, oh, this dude ain't all that, or and as a while you start getting older, 14, 15, 16, you start to realize, you start to come into your own manhood, like, Niggas ain't really who they say they is out here when they do some shit. You know, just because you was from Brooklyn, we didn't know what you did in Brooklyn. Or from the Polo Grounds, we didn't know what you did over there. You told us the things you was doing. Because we saw you do certain shit. We thought it was real, but it wasn't really real. But moral of the story is, people ain't always who they say they are sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out shit for yourself. I don't know. Hey, I tried to tell a story, but I tried. It was just something that I remember that I never forgot. And I seen dude some years later when I was like 20, 21. He used to come around the block and try to holler at niggas and whatever. And niggas was like, niggas ain't fucking with you. Like, you trash. Like, you ain't no real nigga. We just thought you was because we was young. But I don't know. That's what I got for now. But I'll be back with another one.